Hey guys, welcome to Big Sister. I want to talk to you guys about something really quick. Every time you quit a job, you start from ground zero. Every time you quit, you're starting from ground zero. So if you worked a job and you worked there for 6 months and you quit, when you go to your next job, you're starting at day one. If you're at a job and you worked there for 4 or 5 years and you quit, when you go to your next job, you're starting at day one. This message is for individuals who don't like to work, or you don't like to listen to individuals, or you like to argue, or you're always finding fault with the boss and always popping off at the mouth, whatever it may be that you do, or you just get bored, I don't feel like working. Understand that every time you quit, every time you curse the supervisor out, every time you don't show up on time, you don't do what you need to do, and you get fired or you quit or whatever, you were escorted out, you're starting from the bottom up. And you may think that it doesn't matter, but over time you'll see how much time you would have wasted versus being on a job, doing it to the best of your ability, and being able to get pension or whatever it is later. Now, we do know when you're young, you may have some jobs that it's not forever, it's for right now. Maybe it's while you're in high school, maybe it's just a summer job. But whatever you do, do it well. Okay? Because when you go to another job, they want your referral, right? You could probably lie and say, oh, I didn't come from anywhere. But most times they're gonna look up something or you're going to have to say you've had some sort of work experience, especially when you're a little bit older. Like, how could you be 25 and you've had no prior resume? A lot of times people will not hire you because you have no work experience, and it will be a little puzzling to them that you're in your mid-20s and you've never worked anywhere before, okay? So it's good to go and do your job and to do the things that you need to do, even if you feel that, oh, I just work at this fast food restaurant, or, oh, I'm just working here handing out skates. Whatever you do, do it to the best of your abilities and follow the rules. Understandably, as long as you're not in a position where you're being harassed in some way that is, sexual or discrimination or hostile work environment and things of that nature. Hostile work environment, guys, is not disagreement. There are people who may not like you, they may not talk to you or whatever, but as long as they're not hindering you and they're not just doing things on a daily basis to bully you and to try to do things that will hinder your job and to add to your stress, and deliberately trying to do things in a way to cause you mental derailment, then a disagreement at work or people not liking you guys, that's no big deal. You could just go in and do your job. You're not there to make friends. When you go to work, you could be cordial to your coworkers, but you don't have to sit there and tell them your business. You don't have to go hang out at happy hour and all these different things. You don't have to do that. Or if you go to do a little after work event or luncheon or something, you still ensure that you're not getting too familiar, okay? Because familiarity breeds contempt. But you have to understand, guys, the more you quit, you go work here and you quit, you're always going to you're starting all over again. So imagine you're somewhere for 5 or 6 years and you just lose that. When you're working, especially as you get older and you start working, you're building towards something. So you'll be able to retire. You'll be able to get some pension, a 401k, all these things. And you just wasted it. Just let it go, right? Because you're mad at your boss, or you didn't want to listen, or you didn't want to follow the rules. And that's one of the things, guys, when I was in the military, a lot of people I knew that got out of the military, they will always say, I'm getting out, man. I don't want anybody telling me what to do. But someone is always going to tell you what to do in life, unless you own your own business. And even when you own your own business, you still have to answer to other people. You're going to answer to the government. You're going to do that. You're going to have to talk to other people that you may be collaborating with in your business. or if you're doing some sort of a joint venture. So you're always going to be someone that you answer to, whether directly or indirectly. You're doing that, okay? You're answering to Apple or whoever every time you go in here and put your password in. You're answering to whoever that made this keyboard right here, because this is what you need to do. There's no other way around it. So we're always following some sort of rules. But when you quit every minute, you're starting from ground zero and you're not hurting anybody. And you may not care, but later on in life you will see. As when you're young and you're resilient and you're not thinking about it, you may easily get a job, and you may find that the type of jobs that you're getting easily, they're not office jobs. They're not going to be jobs that you're in charge, because you don't have enough experience and you're too fickle. Okay? Jobs like that, that's going to pay you and that's going to give you some pretty good benefits. They're not jobs that's just around and you can just easily get it, because there's a lot of competition for it. And not only is there a lot of competition for it, there are also individuals, when people get those jobs, they're not quitting it. They're not quitting. And if they do, they do years later, and because they have something bigger, something that's going to be more lucrative for them before they leave those type of jobs. So you'll find that you easily get like jobs that has a high turnover. Okay, so you may end up working at a fast food restaurant, because normally like some students are working there, and there's a high turnover. They got to go back to school or whatever in the fall or whatever. You're gonna get a job there. You may get jobs doing dishwashing. You may get jobs doing some kind of housekeeping or something like that, and maybe not. But a lot of times it's going to be jobs that you're going to be working hard, and you're going to be working on the weekends. High turnover jobs that some people just don't want to do it unless that's just their thing. So yeah, you may get another job, but it's going to be a little bit of money. You're starting from day one again. Get a job and stick to it. If you're young right now, whatever job you may have, it may be temporary while you're in school. Do it well. Do it to the best of your ability. And then when you get older, you do a job, but then you're working to get better opportunities, right? So when you're leaving, you're going to something better. When you find something that fits you, that you enjoy, then of course you build on that and you grow and you thrive, and you set up your little nest, right? Your 401ks and your RAs and your TSPs, whatever you can, and your savings, and you build on that. So now when it's time for you to retire in however years, you have something to fall back on and to live on, right? Versus you've been quitting and quitting and quitting and quitting and quitting and quitting. And you build and you go back down to zero. And you build and you go back down to zero. So understand that's what that is all about. If you're a quitter because you don't like how your boss spoke to you, and you don't like what they told you to do, and you don't like the schedule that they gave you, and you think this is unfair and they shouldn't have done that. Sometimes at work people do things that are unfair. They're in charge. As long as you're not killing me, as long as you're not doing certain things, there's always a way around it. We're living in times where people are so quick to say, oh, this is toxic, and this is discrimination, and this is, oh, it's a workplace. It's everything is something, but guys, it's life, man. Like, grow up, son. Everything is not going to be easy. It's not always going to be gumdrops and lollipops. There are going to be people who are racist, but don't mean you have to quit your job. There's some people who are sexist. But quitting should not be the very first thing. Perhaps there are other measures that you can take to deal with that. Now, as long as it's not getting to the point where your life is endangered and they're sabotaging you, they're doing things, they're messing up the computer at work and setting you up and breaking your car window, because there are environments, work environments, that it can be this way, then of course, not only do you want to get law enforcement involved, but you may want to remove yourself from there before you get hurt or one of them get hurt because of you. But I'm talking about far simpler circumstances where people are just going, oh, I don't want to do that, I'm just going to quit. Work is an opportunity to thrive and to grow, and it prepares you for more long-term work. And even if you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to be a person that's going to own your own things, you must be loyal. You must be faithful for the people you work for. Because remember, what you sow, you're going to reap. What you do, what you put out, you're going to get it back. So you want to own your own business. You want to be your own boss. Then if you want to get people who are good workers and who are willing to do the things that they need to do, then you need to be that as well when you are in a position of being an employee. All right, guys, peace.